So the matrimonial disputes these days dominate certain proceedings, as what we've been seeing in the high courts or various trial courts. Litigation in these cases are being termed as what many people call revenge litigation. Is there a balance that can be struck? What has been your experience?
So, in the matrimonial litigation, I did a very interesting case in the Supreme Court recently where the wife had, made all kinds of allegations against her father-in-law and her husband, sent them to jail for a long period of time. And then she also qualified into the IPS. And when there was an issue about, whether she should be an IPS or not, because she was also accused of some offenses, which apparently she had not disclosed. So she ultimately decided to settle with the husband and, finish off the cases. Ultimately, in the settlement, we could get a public apology from that lady IPS officer, which was published in national newspapers. She was also directed to publish her all her social media accounts where she had defamed the husband and his family, to apologize in those social media accounts as well, which of course, unfortunately, she has not done, I believe, till today. And also, it was this Supreme Court also affirmed the guideline of the Allahabad High Court, made it an all India guideline, that whenever there is a matrimonial offense, then there should be a 2-month period before you arrest anybody in the matrimonial case, which will give a good cooling off period for the parties to either reconcile or for the parties to, at least get proper legal help rather than, being picked up overnight on the basis of a case. What is happening, unfortunately, then, which is very, very sad, and I blame people for my profession as well, and I've seen that many times happen in court. Once I remember a dear friend's niece had come to me for a litigation that was started at the lower court, and she wanted something to be done in the Supreme Court. So when I was reading her complaint, and it was full of gory details of her father-in-law taking some money and mother-in-law taking her jewelry, etc. So I asked her, did all this really happen to you? She said, no. So I said, why have you written all this? She said, my lawyer wrote all this. He said, if you don't write all this, you will not get any relief. That's the stark reality. And that is where, a lawyer, according to me, completely misses out his actual role in the profession. This is not the job of a lawyer to, manufacture a case on behalf of the client. A lawyer's job is to put a case of his client, whatever be his or her case, and to make a legal case out of the facts that are there. If a legal case is not made out, a criminal case is not made out, it's the job of a lawyer to advise the client that, please, according to me, no case is made out, and please don't pursue this litigation. It may not result in anything beneficial to you. So this is how matrimonial cases are being fought in this country, unfortunately, and that is why I feel that it is very important at the same time, I mean, I must also, use a caveat here. There are very stark cases where women are subjected to physical violence, and it's very difficult to, separate the grain from the chaff. And that's the real job of a good judge, I would say, to see the circumstantial evidences and to see whether this actually happened or it is just manufactured on paper. And where it has actually happened, I feel that those are also cases where there should be no, leniency by courts, and the offender should be, taken to task. But most of the cases that I'm seeing today in this branch of litigation is what a lawyer drafts for a lady as a complaint on her behalf, without most of the facts actually happening in that case. And that's the sad part.
One final point I would like you to add briefly is that all these laws were created keeping the stark reality in mind that you were talking about, the kind of harassment and abuse that women often face. Are the laws really benefiting the real victims in this country?
So what is happening is that these laws are meant to benefit the people who really suffer. But most of the time, and that's again the sad part, most of the time the real sufferers are the ones who don't have the economic means. And they are the ones, when they go to a police station, their case is not registered, they don't have the money to engage a lawyer, or the other side is so powerful that they are able to, stifle the voice of the oppressed. And very rarely you will find those people getting justice. And that is why I always tell young lawyers, or when I go to these colleges, these aspiring lawyers, that you must take pro bono work. You must try and do some work for these people who can't afford to take legal help. I say that will firstly give you a lot of satisfaction of doing something good in your profession, because ultimately in life, the important part is not how much money you made, but the important part is that what work you did, how good that work was, and how you could impact somebody's life in a meaningful way. So I feel that every lawyer should. I myself do legal aid work on a daily basis. Every week I have a couple of legal aid cases with me, and I encourage all youngsters to do it, because if we are able to reach out to even one or two people in our vicinity, you can just imagine the snowballing effect if every lawyer were to try and find out one or two persons in their vicinity and try and help him or her out from any distress. So I think that's the need of the hour in this country. It's a big country, but this message is for all young aspiring lawyers. This is a good way to learn also. You get a practical experience by this process, and you also are able to do something good. So it's a message I would say to all young lawyers, to try and reach out to injustice wherever you hear of in your neighborhood or in your surrounding, and try and do something good for them.